Welcome back to Chatter. I'm Jonathan Crossfield of CCO, and with me right now is Pearl Collings, the new CEO of Contently, as of 28 days ago, correct?
Absolutely.
So this is your first content marketing world, so
Yes.
Welcome to the deep end.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
What's been your impression so far?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. It's definitely been just a constant buzz on the floor between content, freelancers, marketers, customers, technologies. It's just a great grouping together.
A mess of all of those things,
Yes.
basically, with a lot of coffee in between, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So now you have been in the role for just about a month, and assuming you want to make it to month 2, what are your plans for Contently at the moment?
So we definitely want to be able to grow the business to the next level around our, we have a great technology platform and solution. We have amazing freelancers, 160,000 freelancers. We obviously are super focused on the content and content quality that we produce and help our brands with. And again, definitely connecting that along with strategy to kind of seam it together. And again, focusing on the customer, connecting the brand to the customer, I think is the number one.
So those are the goals and those are the things you want to achieve. What do you think are some of the challenges that not only, say, Contently, but tech platforms and content marketers face? What's going to get in your way?
I think maybe part of the challenge is that content is still the queen, if I may, it's not the king. So it still remains that, and I think we want to be able to surface that back in the market.
Why do you think that is, though?
I think maybe more on the marketing, advertising, and publishing side, I think maybe there was definitely some hardships in the last few years. I had to actually run a successful business, but I think content got lost in that, and I don't think it's part of that conversation.
Right. Okay. So does that mean we're sort of at a transition stage for content marketing of from getting to, so not just Contently getting to the next level, but content marketing as a discipline getting to the next level?
Absolutely. That goes in the next chapter and phase in evolution where the content, again, still can go.
Because one of the challenges I know content marketers have at the moment isn't just organizing all the content they have, which is one of the ways that you help, but the fact that there is already an avalanche of content being published every day. So the challenge is, how do I keep that good? How do I maintain a level of quality for them to get to their next level as well? Where do you see content marketing going?
Definitely great question. So I think overall, number one, the core goes back to, again, quality of content. It goes back to the core of freelancers. It goes back to the content creators that are so good. And I think that's a core that we do need to get back to and appreciate. And so with that said, I do think part of the market is going a little bit more around services, right? So content strategy, marketing strategy, right? So the secret sauce is a must table stake, but it needs to be surrounded with a lot more elements where we can support the brand, again, to connect with that customer, and again, a very healthy way. And so it's not just about the volume, but also the content play, the content planning. What are you putting out there and how? And what is really then the result and performance of that will resonate, again, the customers well in engagement and for the brands in just overall performance.
So at the moment, it's not uncommon for content, particularly within a brand, to be almost bolted on. It's an added extra, and it's often sometimes the first thing to get cut as a result.
It's either added,
So how does content marketing become more integrated into a business to the point whereby they will need something like Contently?
So I think it is part of the overall conversations. How do we get the seat at the table?
Yeah.
And again, definitely part of the overall strategic planning, business strategy, not just a content strategy, because that is, again, how we genuinely connect with the customer, right?
Right, okay. So what within the businesses though, and as content, everyone here, this place is full of thousands of people who get this already. And then they've got to go back to their bosses on Monday or to their offices on Monday and try and convince them that they need to do more or do better or invest in a new platform and so on. What are some of the arguments that they can take back with them? How do they pitch to take content marketing to the next level and something like Contently into the business when their bosses are saying, do we need it?
Technology is definitely key to be able to run smarter, faster, on the same page. A cohesive message, cohesive branding is definitely key. it is also key for efficiency and collaboration, right? There's definitely not only internally in the organization, but even externally in the market. We constantly collaborate outside of that as well. So having a technology that is the single source of truth, it is the collaboration platform is critical. So I think that's one huge piece. I think a lot of the market is also a lot of times take a more preemptive approach of them trying to come up with good content and having their own writers, but I think it's critical to take advantage of all the freelancers and content creators that are out there, because you can have a much higher quality, deeper experience and more better results at the end.
We've talked about good content, quality content and so on, which no one would argue with. That's got to be the goal. It's just, I think people define what that means differently depending on what their own position is. How would you define quality content or good content, and how can Contently help people to achieve that?
So what we apply is definitely, number one, it is an analytics, data, factual, right, a KPI-driven methodology, right? You definitely want to be able to have the qualitative of the content, but also the quantitative. So I think pairing that, which is what we apply in analytics and insights, is definitely critical. And then obviously, definitely the understanding those KPIs and engagements, again, how we engage the customer for the brand and with the brand is definitely also part of that customer journey, right? So it's not enough that you have a content and that there maybe, raises brand awareness, but then how do we influence and have that conversation and dialogue with the customer further down the funnel as well?
So really, it's not about the technology, it's not about the data, it's not about the creators, it's not about strategy, it's all of those things. How, in what you've seen so far and in your experiences so far, are businesses still struggling to hit all four of those things, or where are they falling down?
Because most of the businesses that are succeeding and growing are definitely the ones who are using a tech-enabled service approach.
Right.
And I think the service, that's surrounding us, again, cybersecurity, cloud companies, social media, they're all not only applying the technology, and that's the medium to get to something, but again, they're using services to round out and partner with the brands.
Okay, so the landscape is changing. Even this morning, people were talking about social media, which has been one of the major distribution tools for content for so long that we've relied upon, is becoming less viable for various reasons. And so do we need to start moving away or finding different alternatives? So how does that change what you do? How does Contently help with distribution?
So we absolutely are able to, again, partner in distribution as well. The distribution of voice can become in many shapes or forms. It can be around, SEO. It can be social media. It can be, vlogs. Like there's so many other channels to go through and mediums to go through. Social, I think, is a key anchor, but it's only one of many.
So one of the other challenges is getting the content teams within brands and so on to work with. Because it's never usually one platform. It's never just Contently. It's like this, then we've got this, and then there's a CRM, and then there's, we're using Hootsuite for the social media, and then someone else has got WordPress going over there. And so you end up with this pile of different technologies and different systems. And how can they solve that?
So Contently is actually a complete solution, because all the elements you mentioned, all the features and all the workflow elements are actually in Contently already. So you in fact could have a unified platform, again a single source of truth as well. But obviously we are more than happy to, and we definitely have partnered with best of breeds. So having that integration is definitely, right, some are lighter, some are heavier, absolutely. And again, and then to your point, even though it's fragmented, it is still, right, the top 100 best are the ones that everybody is using.
Okay, we're about to wrap up in just a few seconds. What would be your one takeaway then that you say this is what content marketers should be thinking about right now?
A tech-enabled service solution.
What, sorry?
A tech-enabled service solution.
Tech-enabled service solution. Okay. In that case, thank you very much for your time, Pearl. Good luck in the new role. I'm sure Contently will be hearing a lot more about, and enjoy the rest of Content Marketing World.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for your time as well.
Thank you.